Hi there, today I'd like to share with you ideas on how to get your blog content written with little or no hassle whatsoever. My name is Carl and I'm the author of the best-selling book Smashing Self-Employment, which you can find on Amazon, put a link below, and also the creator of the smashingselfemployment.com business community. And if you like this video, please share it out far and wide. It'd be great to get it out there. I think more people need to be blogging. It helps your website in the search engines, pitches you an expert, a whole load of other things. So please share it out far and wide. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, and click on the like button, ask comments below. All the usual stuff, but please just let us know if you like this video. Okay, blogging. Why blog? Well, I did a video a few weeks back and I put a link down below on why blogging is essential for your website and the search engines. But the key thing is Google wants content, and the more content you have on your website, the more highly ranked your website is likely to be compared to your competitors. It's that simple. Not only that, you can show your expertise and your portfolio on your blog as well. And again, the more stuff you have on your website, the more Google and the search engines like you, because it sees you as an authoritative website. But, and it is a big but, some people say, well, I haven't got blooming time to be writing blog posts. And, you know, I'm so busy, I just literally can't fit anything more in. What am I going to do? All right, might seem a bit dramatic, but it's actually a realistic and very real concern for some people, simply because only very few of us genuinely have the time to sit down and bang out 900,000 words on a blog post on a regular basis. It is tough. I used to write my blog posts on I think it was a Tuesday morning, and I'd be there all morning just trying to reach 1,000 words and thinking, my God, this is taking me ages. Having said that, I'm not a fast typist. I'm much faster than I was. My big problem wasn't the speed of typing, it's the fact that I was constantly rewriting it as I was writing it, so it took ages. And I know other people are very similar too. So if that's you, then you've got to try and do something about it. If you can just knock out a few hundred or 1,000 words in about 30 minutes, then fantastic, go and do it. I urge you to go and do it on a very regular basis. Weekly, 5 times a month is the optimal. Weekly is fine, but just do something. Oh, and do it consistently. Search engines like consistent. So outside of writing it yourself, what can you do? Well, there's a handful of things that you can do. The first thing is to hire a writer, someone who writes blog posts. There's loads and loads of content creators out there. Don't have to necessarily be expensive. You could go to People Per Hour, Upwork, loads of even Fiverr.com, loads of different places where you can get people to write blog posts for you. I've done it in the past for a client. I've never had blog posts written for me because I like my own tweaking them, because nobody can write in my voice. I've had it done for clients in the past, and the way we typically handled it was we found a news article relevant to that particular client, wrote a couple of made notes on a couple of angles, and then just asked a writer, a blog writer, to create an article based on that. And it was quite a loose brief, but we managed to find somebody who was particularly effective at it. The downside is she ended up getting a job, could no longer do it. Really disappointing, because she was really good. But there's loads and loads of people out there willing to help you write blog posts. Another angle is to get somebody you know to write a blog post, particularly if they have an expertise that has a wide appeal to your target audience. Simply because, say for example, if I got a guy who ran a speaking agency, a speaker's agency, and I asked him, why not write a blog post on how speaking can help a business? And he was happy to write the blog post. I put it onto my blog, attributed to him as the author, and put a note on where he could be found. And that worked incredibly well. The best thing about it was because he'd written it, he shared it out with loads of his content as well, and it got loads of links back in, loads of people on social media shared it out. So it really got great traction because I asked somebody else to write an article from their perspective that was relevant to my audience. Even better still, if you can get a client to do that. So have a think. Is there a client that you work with who could possibly write some content that would be useful to your target audience? Have a think. Another thing I've done is I subscribe to a whole load of different newsletters. We all do. And in a few occasions, I've asked the writers of those newsletters, when they were telling a story, if I could share that story on my blog if I attributed them as the author. And I've never once had somebody say no. Now, here's the thing. You need to be very careful about this, because other people might have shared it on their blog as well. So you need to do a very, very quick search on, see if you can find a chunk of the text from this particular piece online. If it's already been published, don't do it, because your website will be penalized for copy content. So get in early, be the first, but just make sure it's not been posted somewhere else. If it has, don't do it. But the number of times I've done it, it's worked incredibly well, and the person who wrote it is more than happy for it to have been shared, because I attribute them as the author and always put a link to their website where they can be found. Now, another way to get this done is to record using an audio recorder or even your phone, and have the recording transcribed into text. Now, when I started getting a lot busier in my business, because I wrote the blog posts early on when I wasn't all that busy, didn't have that many clients. When I started getting really, really busy, I think I don't have time to sit for half a day a week writing a blasted blog post. I've got to have a more efficient way. And somebody said, well, why don't you just record it, send it over to a transcriber? I thought, what a great idea, because I can talk. I can literally, in about 8 minutes, record well over 1,000 words. And so the way I did it is I made notes on a bullet point. I got a little microphone like this one here, which cost me, I think, about 10 quid from Maplins, although Maplins no longer exist in the UK. You could use Amazon or your local electronics shop. It's called a lapel mic or lavalier mic. I hooked it up to I had at the time a digital voice recorder, an HD digital voice recorder, and I used that. And I put notes on a post-it note and literally talked through what it wanted to get across, as though I was explaining it to a friend or a small audience. The reason why is because when you put things into conversational language, it's much, much easier to understand. And you would never use complex technical language with somebody who didn't fully understand what you were trying to say. So whilst it's not quite dumbing it down, it's making it more accessible. And that's the key with blog posts. It needs to be well-written, accessible language. And if you record it as though you were saying it to a friend, trying to explain the concept to a friend, then I promise you the language will be a lot better. And then I sent that recording, the MP3 file, over to a transcription company in New York. Lovely lady called Janet at Zoom Transcription. Highly rate Janet. I'll put a link to her website below. And she came back 2 days later with a Word document. Then all I had to do is literally copy and paste that into my blog, do a little bit of editing, tidy it up a little bit, add some imagery, do some SEO on it, publish it. Now, the whole process typically took me about 25 minutes, including editing and publishing. Whereas you compare that to before, where I was spending 2+ hours writing a blog post. So imagine 10 minutes to record a blog post, or actually usually a lot less than that, and anywhere up to another 15 to 20 minutes doing the editing and publishing it on the blog. So it was a net saving of approximately 2 hours a week, which is huge. Now, was it worth it because I had to pay the transcriber? Yes, it was, because at the time she was charging me $1 a minute, which is a bit more than that now, but at the time that's what it was, and it just worked an absolute treat. Now, I still do this. Janet still gets periodic work from me, but ultimately it's entirely up to you. But you can find I found Janet on Fiverr.com, and then we just developed such a good relationship. In fact, she's even interviewed me for her business. So it can find somebody you can trust, find somebody who can do a good job, you can have a relationship with, and I promise you it will work out. And the last thing you can do is use voice recognition software. Now, this is becoming a big deal. I tried out Dragon Naturally Speaking by Nuance. I think it's now owned by Nuance software. It didn't work particularly well. The accuracy rate wasn't very high. Spent flipping ages trying to program and train the thing. Still didn't work for me. Having said that, with modern phones, a lot of the latest phones have voice recognition and dictation software, so give it a go. It can work. I don't know anybody who does it, but I would say give it a go. If that doesn't work, then send your recording over to a transcriber. Just pay a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but it'll save you so much time. But yeah, try voice recognition software. Dragon is still out there. but there are also apps you can download, etc. Most of them cost you some money because there's a lot of programming involved in voice recognition software. But again, it's another method that can work. The idea behind all of this is to try and get you to write some blog posts. Blogging is very important for the credibility of your website and the search engines, but also can be very good for the credibility of your business with potential customers. And it's also stuff that you can share out on your social media as well. So again, it's greater visibility to put stuff out, easy made, ready made content that you can share forever. So hopefully that's given you some ideas. Really, in my view, there's no excuse for you to not be blogging. So get out there, just go and do it, get some content, let me know how you do. You've got questions or comments, just put them below. It'd be great to hear from you.